Oh, disappointed.
We are disappointed.
Wasn't as good as we thought it was gonna be. You know, it's been rare that I've seen a movie that's actively trying to talk you out of going to see it. First of all, the word disappointment's in the title, and we were also the only ones in there. And the marquee above the thing, they when it gets past so many letters, the whole title usually isn't on the thing, and that was the case here too. So what we were left with was a big sign above the door that said, "Disappoint me." Well, I can't fault them. Actually, disappointment's not even an accurate word. It wasn't like I thought this was going to be good going into it.
We got exactly what was paid for.
We did. Yeah, and I don't even think this movie's even going to be here tomorrow. This has been out for a couple weeks now.
I was surprised it was still here today.
Yeah, usually no matter how much something bombs, it's usually around for 2 weeks.
Unless it's like Punisher Warzone, which got that weekend and then was gone.
Well, the one I can think of recently that was just here a week and gone was Meet the Blacks. That was like a week and gone. Like, fuck, like, everything. Morgan was around longer than that, and that debuted at number 17 on the box office.
Jesus, I didn't realize that one came out so fucking low.
That kind of surprised me too, honestly, because it wasn't dead when Sarah and I went to go see it. There was a decent enough crowd in there. Apparently, that crowd we had for Morgan is all who went to go see it. Apparently. That's why it's hard to gauge shit like that sometimes in Springfield. But we had the whole theater to ourselves for the disappointments room.
Which, sometimes seeing a movie with a packed house, or at least a moderately packed house, can really help with the viewing experience. I mean, it feels cliche to say it, but yeah, like
it can.
Some of the black movies that we've seen, like, you know, like, it helped. Like, it honestly, like, it heightened the experience. This one, I enjoyed the fact that we were the only ones there, so that we could just talk freely the whole fucking movie.
Yeah. Exactly. Because if this had a crowd in there, they wouldn't have been jumping at jack shit. We would have been in a crowd full of people who, honestly, 30 minutes in, might have fallen asleep, and then we could have just talked through it anyway.
Because, yeah, that would have been a very hard movie to watch, and not, like, I mean, basically, we had, like, a full conversation the entire film. That would have been a really hard one to just sit there and not say anything the whole fucking time. And that's the thing, is, like, it's only an hour and a half. Like, it clocks in, like...
it says it's 4:16. This movie was actually about... it was actually about 9 hours long.
That scene where she's locked in the room for fucking 10 hours happened in real time to us.
Shit. It was actually really good. It altered time. What am I talking about? This isn't a disappointment. It's a surprise. In terms of...
Surprise, it's like Showa. It's 8 hours long. And just as uplifting.
Don't you have to be at work in a couple hours? Sorry, I'm late for work. It turned out I was at this 9-hour Holocaust movie.
I mean, who knew?
You can't get mad at me.
This was important. Who knew that there were so many Nazis you could just find and talk to?
Right. Where else do you think I bought my copy of The Night Porter? Of the dumb horror movies like this movie's really bad. It's not as... I had to get that one movie that I had to see earlier in the year, The Other Side of the Door.
Oh, right.
You could easily compare these two movies. That one was way...
Because they both had doors.
They did both have doors. Yeah, and they're both the same They're both really the same kind of horror movie, honestly. That one was far worse than this. The difference being, this movie you could tell was made by competent people, and they just kind of fucked it up. Other Side of the Door was jaw-droppingly stupid. Now, this movie sucks too, but at least this one, if I could pay it any sort of compliment, it's like, this is a fairly decent director on a bad day, you know? Other Side of the Door was fucking shit. Which honestly may have made that movie funnier than this one, but objectively, this was the better of the two.
I'm trying to think. I think that one might actually even be on Netflix now.
Oh, if you and Letty watch that, you'll laugh your asses off at it.
Sweet.
It's ridiculous. It's whatever you do, don't open the door. Okay, opens the door, and then ghost cannibals are after them. Fuck.
Because that makes sense.
Oh, God. That movie made no sense. That movie began with the fake-out dream sequence. And then when she
This whole movie was the fake-out dream sequence.
This movie has, like, at the least, has, like, 3 of the fake-out dream sequences in it. Other Side of the Door had a lot, too. Other Side of the Door opened with it, and then the next scene when she wakes up, it said 4 years later or something like that. So would the fucking thing really happen? Ugh.
4 years after she fell asleep.
Yeah.
Well, that's like this one, like, for some movies, I might put that as like a testament to the filmmaking, but this one I'm not going to. That with like the fake outs and the dreams and the hallucinations and the flashbacks and everything constantly going back and forth between what's really happening and what's not, like, it reached a point partway, well, we're getting into like the third act, where I honestly could not tell anymore if anything that was happening on screen was actually even fucking happening.
The only reason why I thought, okay, the movie, you've all seen this kind of movie before many times. It's Kate Beckinsale, her husband, her kid, go to a creepy house in the middle of nowhere. House is fucking haunted because there's an upstairs room called the Disappointments Room where...
I'm still not sure that there was a single ghost.
The only reason why I think there is because that ghost pops up in instances where she wasn't looking at it or she wouldn't have known it was there. And the ghost did, like, hang that kid at one point.
But she went back out there and he wasn't there.
She did?
Yeah.
Maybe I checked out at that point.
Yeah, she went back out there and couldn't find him, and then there was like a brief, like, 2-second snippet of showing him, like, digging up that coffin again, and then it cut to, like, the reverse shot of it, and it was her just looking out the window at him.
Oh.
So she just imagined all that.
Okay.
But apparently she didn't tell herself she imagined it, so she was surprised when she found out that she had imagined it.
But she was also...
That's what I was saying. Like there reaches a point where it is impossible to tell, because there's things happening to other characters in other places, and you're like, is she dreaming this too, or is this actually happening? It's impossible to tell because she is such an untrustworthy narrator. It's like stuff like Sucker Punch, where you don't really fucking know what is happening because you're not really sure if like what you're seeing is happening or what you think you're seeing is happening, or it's like which level of her being in here is real.
The only thing that makes me think, like, yeah, there is probably actually ghosts in here is that she sees them before she even knows who they are or what they are. Like when she goes to that library to find out the backstory on the ghosts and things. Like, not saying like everything in this movie is real, but that's even with that is like the woman there, like, she greets her as, "Oh yeah, I'm the lady who sent you all the pictures of the family that used to live in that house." Oh, okay. Yeah, there's that. But I mean, there are other scenes where the ghosts are just in the background when she's not looking at it and would have no idea they're even there.
And that's what makes it really confusing to figure out, like, if there's even actually ghosts or if she's just fucking crazy.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Well, I mean, it's definitely that she's fucking crazy, but yeah, because like entire scenes, like the whole like because that kid out there digging up that grave and then getting attacked by like the stern old man ghost. There was no one out there, but then like it shows that scene of her like, well, I did actually see that happen. So it makes you think like, so was she hallucinating all the other stuff too, since that clearly didn't happen? But then it's like, why would she hallucinate things that she wasn't seeing? Like yeah, like when like the ghost is standing behind her and she doesn't see it. Like,
I just don't.
There's so fucking little that makes any goddamn sense with this.
If I were to try to guess what maybe went wrong with this movie, first of all, how do you fuck up Your House is Haunted by crazy Gerald McRaney? How do you fuck that movie up? That sounds like it should be terrifying, and it's not. Like, to this day, he can still make me shit my pants whenever I think back to him on Deadwood. Like, Your House is fucking Haunted by Gerald McRaney. That sounds like it should be an instant fucking success. Like, you're trapped in a house with Stephen Lang kind of success. And
like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
He's here, you're fucked, clearly. Unless he's on your side. He's not.
This movie it's co-written by Wentworth Miller, and he also wrote a movie called Stoker, which is actually a pretty good movie. And there are parts where I can kind of tell a little bit that it came from him. Maybe this always started out as a crap script, but to give them the benefit of a doubt, this seems like maybe they wrote it at first to be like kind of like Stoker, where it's kind of surreal. There's quirky stuff that's happening. It's almost soap opera-ish in a way, the way the characters are all interacting with each other.
Yeah, because a lot of the dialogue, especially between Kate Beckinsale and her husband in this, is so weird. Like half the time it sounds like it's just two different conversations that are just like spliced together so that it sounds like they're having a back and forth.
What was that opening scene where it was?
Yeah, because like they were saying like they were listening to like the Mikado or something on their
as you
car
do.
ride. Yeah, like you do. And her husband is like, it's like, oh no, it's like we're listening to Gilbert and Sullivan. Like, what's more American than that? She's just like, they were English. It's like, well, it's like, but you know that. It's like, I know that. It's like,
he goes, do you want me to turn it off? She goes, not on your life. Cut to title screen.
It's like,
what?
Okay. And it's not like there's some overarching like Gilbert and Sullivan theme throughout it, or like their music comes back. Like no. It has. That's just it. Like that's the cold open, is them having an awkward conversation about musical theater, cut to the title.
That, and also that's pointing out to like,
the movie,
boy, you can tell they're really working through their accents too. The guy especially. Kate Beckinsale more often than not is fine.
Yeah, the guy, like, I couldn't tell where the fuck his accent was. I think
as soon as he started talking, I was like, dude, you're not American.
Oh yeah, there was zero chance of that. But yeah, he's got some kind of accent. It's not clear at first. Like, it almost sounds kind of like French, but then like halfway through the movie, he almost sounded like he was trying to do like a Boston accent.
Sometimes he looks like Frank Grillo, like, because sometimes he's really disheveled and just the 5 o'clock shadow, like he's just about to throw some guns in his trunk and go hunt down drunk drivers in The Purge. Other parts, he looks like Louis Skolnick. All depending on whether he's wearing his glasses or not. And so that opening was really awkward with a giant title coming on screen. It would be like if you recut The Shining awkwardly and the opening scene was Jack, Wendy, and Danny in the car, and Jack's like, it's okay, honey, he saw it on the television. The Shining. The fuck?
Well, and that scene even like the opening scene starts with a hard cut into it. So it's like, that just felt awkward. Like, it literally, as soon as the movie started, it felt like something was wrong already. But no, it is good that you make the the reference there to The Shining, because
Huh.
the movie proceeds to do that itself for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, here's my other thing about, like, when I was mentioning earlier about, like, maybe at some point this was...
A Shining remake?
No,
yeah,
no.
I believe it.
I mean, more so, like, maybe it was something tonally that might have been a little more like Stoker, where it was just... Maybe at one point it started out like a little more moody, maybe a little quirkier, maybe a little weirder, and then somewhere along the line they told them to add as many horror cliches as you can into this script, even if it makes no sense, even if you really don't have a 3-act structure in this movie.
Because yeah, it did. I could easily see where they may have had like a reasonable script, and they're like, well, I mean, you don't have a whole lot of writing credits behind your name, so we're just gonna pass this around to like 20 other people who will be uncredited to put all kinds of fucking notes in here.
And I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, because I liked his last movie, and I don't know, maybe this was always shit, but like, so, but no, you're right about it. Adding different cliche after cliche, whether it's the fake out dream sequence or the little girl from The Shining is in this movie.
If there had been a scene where that kid stepped out and he was wearing like a fucking like Apollo like 11 fucking sweater, I would have thought, okay, they're embracing it now.
Yeah.
Because this kid has like the Danny Torrance like Prince Valiant haircut.
Yeah.
Like he's in scenes like he's just like playing ball with himself sitting in like a hallway. There's basically like the shot where like he rounds the corner and like a girl, like basically instead of the twins, it's just a girl and it's a yellow dress instead of blue dresses. Same fucking shot of just standing there having an intense stare battle with each other.
Not
fucking all over the place with like little subtle references.
Oh, sometimes not so subtle. I gotta give the movie credit in this one regard on the balls this movie has to rip off Poltergeist in a scene and then proceed to name drop Poltergeist.
Name drops it with a character who was trying her hardest.
It's another scene you've seen in 50 other things, where Kate Beckinsale goes to the library. There just happens to be an old person there who knows exactly what's going on in her house, knows exactly what the ghosts are.
20 years ago would have been Zelda Rubinstein.
Yeah. Oh, she literally...
She's trying her absolute level best to do that.
She's got to be there to title drop too, because she says, "What you have in your house is what we call a disappointments room."
A disappointments room?
What's that? This is movie I'm sitting through.
Which, it's okay. Maybe this is just my thing. Apparently, like you were telling me that somebody was like sending me some stuff that like apparently
that is a thing.
That's a thing that they did. Cool. That's probably where the idea came from. Fine with that. As a layperson, I have no prior experience with that term. I would not know that unless I looked it up myself and just...
Well, you weren't a disappointment. You didn't have to go hide in the closet.
But no, it seems like the sort of thing that, you know, like that seems like the sort of thing that would have come up at some point for someone who has a master's degree in architecture. That may have come up in a course or something somewhere. They're like, oh, here's a weird little thing, like, you know, like 17th century architectural thing. They would build disappointment rooms.
Kate Beckinsale's an architect in it.
Like, that seems like the sort of thing that would come up, you know? It's, I don't know, I mean, maybe not. I mean, who fucking knows? But it'd be like...
I don't know. I can tell you that the concept of disappointments room in this, which is basically, like, it's an old-timey term.
Because there's entire books on it. Like, the woman just has one.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, here, hold on. Here it is on top of this pile here. Here's a book on disappointments rooms.
It's like whenever, like... Okay, remember the opening scene from Batman Returns What if Cobblepot's parents didn't throw him into the ravine? What if they just kept him in a closet for his life? That's what it is. It's like
it's basically the sort of thing that like in The Boy, that's basically what they're like, oh, our kid's a total fuck up, we'll just build a disappointments room to keep him in the walls. It's basically the same concept. But like, I don't know, it seems like the sort of thing like this woman as an architect would have known about.
But honestly, what did any of that have to do with this movie? Like that's
fucking nothing. Like they built that up like it was some like interesting twist.
It's not. It's mentioned only a few times. I don't know how that suddenly makes Gerald McRaney's character a mass murderer. But he's killing everything that moves in this house.
Well, and that's a thing though that for me goes along with the idea of I don't know when the movie was being serious and when it wasn't with what was actually happening, because there's that point right before, like, whenever they're inviting friends over for that one scene, so there's more than 3 people in the credits. Like, he's on his way, like, in the kitchen, like, making dinner and stuff, and then it cuts to, like, the kid, and the kid's, like, doing kid shit, and then it cuts to Kate Beckinsale, and she's, like, drinking out of, like, her secret, like, booze drawer. And then it cuts to the librarian back at, like, the town archives or whatever, looking through a scrapbook of all these grisly murders that have happened on that property. And then, like, making, like, oh no, I've got to call them face. I'm like, it's a fucking scrapbook. Like, you put it together. Like, this shouldn't be like, like, it wasn't like she was looking through like, oh, here's like the newspaper from this date, and like, wait, hold on, this other drawer, here's this newspaper from this date. Like, no, they were all cut and pasted onto like a fucking scrapbook.
It's really, like, this room barely has anything to do with.
Yeah, but like she tries calling to like warn them. It rings through, no one answers, and it kind of makes it look like Kate Beckinsale is ignoring the phone ringing, but there's also 3 other people who are not in the middle of a horror film in the kitchen who should have just answered the goddamn ringing phone. Because then the woman's like, she's calling, she's like making like, I got all these murders, all these massacres.
Well, just now noticing this.
And then like it doesn't, like no one picks up, she's just, hangs up the phone, and then just goes back to staring blankly at the like desk in front of her. And then that's the last time she's in the movie. She never comes back after that. So it's like was she ever like? What did that scene happen?
I'm sure, because I mean, this isn't the first. This wouldn't be the first like plot point that this movie totally dropped. I mean, this movie.
Well, yeah, but it just makes me think of it because like all the other people were in the kitchen and no one was answering the phone. So like, did just no one? Was it just not ringing and she was thinking about like, oh man, wouldn't that be crazy if that had happened? It's impossible to tell.
I think the woman was. I'm sure the woman was real.
Well, I'm sure the woman was real, but I mean, like her trying to call, like I've got to warn them about all these murders I just discovered, even though I've already been sending them all kinds of like historical information that goes back farther than these newspaper clippings. I
think it was probably just there to help out the audience a little bit, because this is a movie that has flashbacks to things that happened literally 2 minutes prior.
Yeah, that one flashback was a flashback to the scene that preceded it.
Sometimes I couldn't even tell if we were in a flashback or not. There's one part where it does flashback to Kate Beckinsale about to cut her wrists, and then it shows her husband in New York City talking to a therapist. I'm assuming that's happening right after he finds his wife, who's about to slit her wrist, but then he references that they're living in this big house now. And I was seriously, I leaned over to you like, I thought we were in a flashback. I'm like...
Well, and that's why, like, time is a fluid structure in this movie, because they're constantly, like, it's impossible to tell what day anything is happening on it. This whole movie could have taken place in 4 days or 5 months, I have no idea. Because like like every scene, she's always wearing like some kind of a white t-shirt. Mm-hmm. Basically, like it might have like a pattern to it or a texture to it, or like maybe it's like a baseball tee and has like different colored sleeves, but basically a white shirt and then some shade of gray cardigan.
So you could interchange the scenes.
But yeah, I mean, it's very easily, interchangeable with scenes. Like, like she's almost always dressed the same. Mm-hmm. And it makes it really hard because you'll have scenes where like she'll be talking to a character, wearing that one character, or that one shot was like the most confusing, because she was like out on like this little balcony talking to like the repairman, and she was wearing like a white shirt that was sleeveless. Mm-hmm. And then she gets up and walks to camera, and then it cuts to her walking into the bathroom and walking up to the medicine cabinet to look inside it. And then suddenly, like, her husband's standing behind her. Mm-hmm. But she is wearing a completely different shirt. Like, it's like a long sleeve, like, sheer, like, t-shirt. So it's like, wait, did she come in here and change? Is this a different day? Is this the same day but later that same day? Is the other guy still out on the balcony? Like, how much time has passed between... Because, like, when you have a person walking to frame and then walking... in, it's like, it makes it look like these two scenes are supposed to go together.
She often looks like when like a celebrity visits a small town, because this is taking place in a small town, and she's walking through the street like with this cardigan wrapped around her, like these big sunglasses, her hair looking perfect, and she looks like Kate Beckinsale's car broke down in the middle of a small town in New York.
She looks like one of those scenes where it's like, where'd you say you're from, lady? New York. Well, you're gonna be holed up here for a couple days. Yeah. Like, it's fucking like Doc Hollywood. Like, my fucking car broke down.
Yeah.
It'll be a week before we can get that
part in. Meanwhile, she's married to this guy in this movie who looks like he's still gotten over last year's purge. God.
When I first started, I leaned over, I'm like, it's like, who the fuck is this guy? Like he looks familiar. Like he's like Ray Fiennes' other less talented brother.
Joey Fiennes. So, like, this movie, though, like, you were talking about the phone earlier, like, this is a movie that hangs up on itself. This isn't 3 acts, it's about 2.5. Because once it gets into what could conceivably be the third act, yeah, there's some stuff going around in the house for like 5 minutes. Like, she thinks that Gerald McRaney ghost is about to kill the kid, and then she goes and gets the R rating by bashing Gerald McRaney's head in with a hammer for like 3 minutes.
Like, she's goddamn Gallagher with that thing.
This movie's rated R for like that scene, and they say fuck like 4 times, and there's smoking in it. Like, really, you wasted an R rating on this PG-13 horror film.
Yeah.
And so then, like, they're
2 minutes in the fucking editing booth, and this is a PG-13.
Yeah. So then the ghost Gerald McRaney's not there, and the dad is comforting the kid, and the mom's like, things are so fucked up, blah, blah, blah. And then they leave, and the movie ends. They just pack their shit in the car, like, yeah, alright, maybe this house isn't the best. Okay. Drive off. Gerald McRaney ghost is looking at him through the window. The fucking end. There's your movie.
It'd be like if in Insidious, whenever like partway through the like going into like the beginning of like the second act.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, all right, let's just move. Mm-hmm. And then you just cut to the credits.
And then Insidious title across the screen.
So insidious.
Anticlimactic. What the fuck? Yeah, that's what happens here. Like, really, the climax of the movie is like honestly the only good scene in this movie, when Kate Beckinsale has her like drunken monologue.
She's got like this one fucking it's like a 10-minute long scene.
Yeah.
Where she crushes this film.
Yeah, she was really good in that.
I have to assume that whenever they're like, okay, we need someone in this role, like a known person. We need somebody in this role. I feel like they sent her that script. Like they're just like, okay, here's this scene. Like, your fucking kid is dead. It's the 1 year anniversary, and you are drunk.
Action. Just don't bash his skull like Calvin Candy,
Right?
in Django.
Yeah, this was her version of that scene.
She freaking knocks this scene out of the park, and that scene is part of why I was mentioning earlier, like, there are moments in this movie where I can tell this is the same dude who wrote.
Like, that was the day that, like everyone on set was awake.
Yeah, it's well shot. It's well acted. Well, and that's it is kind of tense a little bit in that scene.
And that's one of the things throughout the entire film that's so annoying with this movie, is that it is very, very well shot.
No, it is.
It's a really good looking movie. There's just... the acting and the writing is fucking terrible.
The horror aspect is bullshit. Like, when I look at her like drunken monologue, that's one scene where I'm like, was this movie at one point in the script way more like this scene? Because I could kind of see that, judging from from Wentworth Miller's last movie.
Because if it's... yeah, because it's like so many people... It feels like when you have like too many cooks in the kitchen and you just... everybody is trying to add something.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, if this had just been... like, if the whole movie had been like that scene...
yeah.
And it was just this really, really, like highly wound, like really taut, like, family drama like that... it could have worked.
It absolutely could have worked.
Like, this family moving to the country, and then the wife, the mother, just completely collapsing and just dying a little bit more inside every day. That could have made a really compelling film.
Yeah. Instead,
or if they had stuck to just like, or she's crazy.
Yeah.
And went with that, or lose the she's crazy and just go with no, it's fucking ghosts. Cool, pick one of these things, but don't just put them all together, because that's like like with The Boy. I mean, it wasn't like a fantastic film, but I was with it as a ghost story up until the point that they're like, oh no, it's just a hidden mongoloid in the walls. It's like, oh.
And then Bad Ronald happens.
Yeah, it's like up until that point, you were doing okay. It wasn't ever going to be like an award-winning film or one I'm going to like, oh man, as soon as that hits fucking Blu-ray, man, I'm getting that shit.
Yeah.
But it had at least something. It was doing what it was supposed to do. And then it completely it's like and we'll throw in the twist. You know, it's like, no, like, haven't we learned from all of, like, M. Night Shyamalan's mistakes that sometimes...
you don't want to do that? Sometimes
you don't need a fucking twist. Sometimes you just need the movie to be exactly what it was supposed to be. Because, like, some of the stuff, like there towards the end, like, really ramping things up with suddenly, like her going in there, like, at the very end, like witnessing whatever she assumes happened, or maybe did, and maybe there are ghosts. Fuck, I don't know. In that room, and then like getting attacked by that dog, and then like having to kill a ghost with a ghost hammer. Like, that's a phrase I said.
That happens.
Oh, what else are you going to use to kill a ghost? Yeah. A real hammer?
Oh, go right through it. Fuck that.
But it's like how you can only cut diamonds with other diamonds, right?
Yeah. No, this movie...
But that scene, sorry to interrupt, like, that scene, like, it's just, it feels, honestly, even though it's been leading to that, to suddenly escalate that highly out of nowhere felt out of place, but it was also so short.
Yeah.
That it felt pointless to even do it like that. Like,
because it didn't feel like a whole act. It didn't feel like that. The drunken party monologue is longer than
than the actual haunting aspect of the final act. Like it, and honestly, like using, since they wanted to name drop it, Poltergeist as a guide point, it would be like if you were watching Poltergeist, and then as soon as it hit the scene where it's like the paranormal team's like, I don't know, we got to check out for a little bit, and then like all the crazy shit with like the long hallway and all the shit like that. If that was like basically like as soon as it's like oh man, this seems fucked up, and then they just got outside and went and got in the car and left, and then it cut to them at like the fucking hotel, like setting the TV outside.
putting the TV out because
Like,
it's showing the disappointments room.
Like if they skipped all of the actual point and they were just like, it's like, oh man, shit's getting crazy. Like, no, we're just gonna go.
Yeah,
We're just gonna go.
because the movie is well made, like you said, and what does make it suffer is all the horror bullshit they throw in this, because it is shit like a fake out dream sequence, the usual haunting stuff you see in all of this. Only it seems
I was waiting for
wildly unnecessary.
I was waiting for that kid to open a door and just
Yeah.
like blood come pouring out of it or
And-
something.
None of it works because it's not scary, it's not compelling, it's not suspenseful at all. The only moment of relative tension was the drunken scene, which didn't involve ghosts at all. That was just all
that was
in
just
the dialogue and the acting.
Yeah, just a woman acting the fuck out of a scene with a big ass knife in her hand.
That's what makes me think maybe this was once a more human story, a more human script, and they just injected all this, well, what's common cliches we see in about 20 different horror movies nowadays. Let's put every single one of them in this movie, and let's not make it scary at all. Let's just do the cliches, and that's it. And it's not scary. Like, it's not as jaw-droppingly stupid as Other Side of the Door, partly because, like, look, they have an experienced director behind this. He's made some bad movies, but he's made some good movies too. And there are good-looking shots. Like, he knows how to film the spiral staircase. He knows how to get the exteriors. He can film shit with mirrors really well and stuff like that. It's not a bad-looking movie at all. It just lies there dead. Like, it's a good photograph of bullshit you've seen about 20 times.
And there's scenes that just, because of like, if this stuck to the weight that it tries to pull when it's doing, like, when it's her big drunken monologue, certain aspects would have worked better. Like a theme throughout the whole movie is they keep alluding to the fact that they had another kid that died.
Oh, I forgot about... Oh, when it explains that?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And they keep alluding to they had a kid and it died. But
I leaned over to you and I was like, have they said how the kid died yet?
It's like a last minute reveal. Like, it's almost the last thing that happens in this movie before they leave the house.
And Kate Beckinsale accidentally fell asleep and rolled over on the kid.
Yeah,
oh my god, that's the reveal.
They keep alluding to something really bad happened and, like, she's really fucked up from it. But, like, the way they keep framing it in, like, these flashbacks is like, well, maybe she had, like, postpartum and, like, wasn't taking care of the kid. And then, like, at a point, like, Kate Beckinsale breaks down and just starts mentioning how, like, it's like she was there. It's like, even she didn't want to be near me. Like, even she hated me. So she just stopped being alive.
Because you rolled over
and
on
I'm like,
her and you fell asleep.
Oh, so maybe it was like sudden infant death or something. And then it actually shows the flashback finally. And, like, it shows her, like, walking around the house, like, with the kid. And the kid just won't stop crying and won't stop crying. And she looks so fucking annoyed by that. And then, like, lays it down in bed. And then, like, she's laying there looking at the kid like, God, why won't you stop crying? And then she falls asleep and just crushes the baby. Like,
that was a reveal.
Oh, no.
God.
It's like, especially because, like, I know babies are pretty delicate, but what's Kate Beckinsale weigh? Like 95 pounds? I'm pretty sure a baby could support her weight.
Like, one way to find out. Get that woman a baby. I go real quick. I do gotta mention some of the product placement in this film. Not,
Yeah, there's
not that there was
not
a lot.
there's not a
but-
tremendous
Yeah, it's
amount,
not like Man of Steel levels or.
but it's the quality over the quantity.
All right, there's a part where they're like, it's the small town of like 50, and so there's just like
It's
this
a smaller
one.
town than what I grew up in.
Yeah,
and
like-
we've got like 20 streets total.
There's like one street where there's all these shops in. They go into this one shop on this one street in this tiny town in North Carolina.
Is that where the fuck they were?
Yeah, I could see North Carolina written underneath the
Oh, okay.
one of the posters. So like,
I had
It's just-
no clue where they were.
I only know that from just this picture on the wall. But like, so there's one shop they go into that's like this mom and pop shop with like food and candy
It's
that's
like-
like homemade.
Yeah,
and
like the local general store, like the sundry store. Like
and then
it looked like a shop that like would be in the town in like Northern Exposure.
yeah, oh yeah. And then like right behind him, it never leaves the frame whenever the camera's pointing in this side of the room.
It's like they
Right
maneuver to
behind
make sure
him.
it's there. It's like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like Jesus in like those paintings they have in churches. Like they're like no matter where you're standing, he's looking at you.
Yeah, and it's like this giant thing that they just wheeled in from like a Quick and Easy of Krispy Kreme donuts. Just giant sitting right there amongst stuff the store owner probably made themselves. It'd be like you go into
She's
like
talking about like oh, we sell ice cream. I just made some strawberry this morning.
Yeah.
Like, so she's back there churning her own ice cream, but she's ordering out like I don't know how the fuck to make donuts though. Just calling up Krispy Kreme. Like, could you deliver these to the middle of absolutely nowhere?
dude, it would be like if you go into like on Gilmore Girls, you go into Luke's diner and he sells you a Big Mac.
It'd be like if you go to Smallville and there's just like a 7-Eleven in it.
Yeah, There's a wild gunman machine, right? It was so, and not only that, or like, okay,
Well,
so
and-
there's
and
this.
She also mentions like it's like they walk in and the first thing she says is, "Well, good afternoon." Mm-hmm. And this case is completely stocked, top to bottom.
It is
Like
bright too.
there is not a single donut that has been taken or moved out of place.
It's bigger than her desk.
It's like this place looks like it's using like you know, like soft yellow like white lights on everything, but this goddamn Krispy Kreme display is like just full of like fluorescence. Like it is just glowing in the background.
Yeah.
And I notice everybody's like keeping well to like stand like on the corner of frame so you can see the goddamn Krispy Kremes behind them.
Oh, and they didn't want you to forget about donuts either, because later in the movie, in the dinner party.
So fucking jarring.
Yeah, during the dinner party, which is in this fancy dining room.
Because we've only seen them like fixing up
Yeah.
this huge like
It's in
old
their
style
house.
gothic mansion castle that they're living in. Like it's the fucking house from The Haunting.
Yeah. It looks like the house from Morgan. I kind of wonder if it's the same house.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
As often as like they reuse some of those like
This seriously looked the
places.
same. It seriously looked the same. So like,
But yeah, like,
it's
they're-
this fancy dinner.
they've been fixing up the place like
Yeah.
really like nice like decor, like mixed between like modern and traditional stuff all over the place. Like everything looks like it would belong in a house that looks like that. And then we go to the dinner scene in which they're eating in what we can only assume is the main dining room.
Yeah, it's this big table. It's this fancy spread out. They got the fine china out and all that. They're all dressed up and everything. Their friends are over. They're eating these like, you know, little game hens. And then behind the husband on the wall is this giant neon sign that's flashing "Eat Donuts."
Yeah, it's like hot fresh donuts
Hot,
or
fresh-
something.
That would be like if in Batman, in like when Bruce Wayne is on the date with Vicky Vale, if right behind Bruce in the dining room was a big neon sign that said "Eat at Joe's." Like it was.
It's-
What the fuck is that?
It dominates the frame whenever they're at that that dinner table. So it makes it even more awkward too, because whenever like, because this is the same room that she has her big monologue in. So when it's her talking, it's just a tight shot on her at the head of the table,
Yeah.
being fucking crazy. And then it cuts to reaction shots at the far end of the table so you can catch all three of them, and all you can see is this giant fucking neon sign.
And it never established that either of these characters are quirky enough to own that in their dining room.
It's like, I don't know what would look good in here. What about that giant, like, 7 by 7 foot neon flashing donut sign we own?
Like, one or two lines of dialogue, or some, maybe even more than that, something to make me think, like, oh, they're the fun couple. They have, stuff that, like, me, you, or Dave would put in our house,
Yeah, like, if I had a big donut sign, I would
bet your ass I'd hang that shit up.
I would hang that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't feel right at all in this house with these people. None of it. Especially not for that scene.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as the scene went on, it started getting into kind of tighter shots on the husband, so it was less distracting. But what is... that was one of the most random pieces of set design that I've seen in a while. And the only thing I can think of is the movie still wants you to be thinking about donuts.
Well, because I almost even wondered, and follow me with this. Okay, that Krispy Kreme shop that they opened up here in town.
Yeah.
They've got basically a big, like, vacancy sign style thing on it, if you ever look at the sign.
Oh, like if that sign is from a Krispy Kreme?
I almost wonder, or at least to like mimic that, if nothing else, because like whenever they like just get like a fresh batch up, like they flip on that thing and then it's like bang, like this big like fresh donut sign that comes on underneath the main like Krispy Kreme sign.
Yeah.
It's like, I almost wonder if that's the same fucking sign.
Sort of like if like you have product placement for Jimmy John's and then an hour later there's a free smells sign in the background.
Yeah.
No, honestly, that wouldn't surprise me, because the only thing I could think of is, seriously, they still want you to be thinking about hot, fresh donuts.
Because, yeah, it's...
I am. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, a donut sounds really good
It actually does sound pretty tasty right now.
But, yeah...
Good job, movie.
It's just odd, but... Like, one other thing, and I don't know why, I think it's because so many movies are so big on, like, hyping like phones and computers and stuff, that it's become one of those things that you notice really whenever you're watching movies like this, that generally about any movie, unless there's a reason for somebody to have like a junk old phone, like either it's like a character trait, or it's like, oh, they're on the run and they like take it from some like old person, it's like, oh, it's a flip phone, or like, oh, it's a burner, they just like, hey, meet me here, trash can. Like, everybody always has, like, brand new phones, or phones that, like, are non-existent, like, in the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
But, like when we saw When the Bow Breaks the other day, everybody, since it's put out by Sony, everybody was walking around with, like the new line of, like, Xperia phones.
Someone's calling me. Speaking of phone.
But everybody's always...
Kate Beckinsale in Total Recall. Hello?
It's like hand phone.
Cheap movie. Real cheap.
Hold on, let me put this up against the car so I can see you. There you are. But,
they have one phone
like,
in this.
Yeah, it's like you're used to seeing like these new devices in all these movies, or like like in the like I think in Jason Bourne, everybody's running around with like brand new iPhones.
You could tell in Jason Bourne.
It was hard to look, but I'm assuming. But like generally, like there's like one manufacturer, like that fucking sex tape movie.
I remember you guys talking about that.
Like there was one
Apple
scene
commercial.
that had every Apple product currently on the market on one desk.
Yeah.
And he was going to it's like, oh no, it's on my Mac. Let me look at my MacBook. Oh no, let me pull up my tablet. Oh no, let me pull up my iPhone. Oh no.
Well, this had just like one scene, didn't it?
There was only one scene with a phone, but it was odd to me because like he's watching like a video of like their dead kid on his phone. And I just happened to notice because it was a super, super small phone. I'm like, wait, that's like an older model iPhone.
Yeah.
So it just made me wonder, is like, was this movie made like 2 or 3 years ago? It's just been
That
sitting
wouldn't
around somewhere.
That wouldn't surprise me.
'Cause there was-
This seems like the kind of thing that...
And there was nothing else in it that could possibly date this movie. Like, I don't know, unless you know the exact year model of that like Porsche SUV that they were driving. That phone is the only other thing, and that phone was a couple years old. And considering how like I said, like generally in movies, unless there's a reason for someone to be using an older model phone, they're using brand new phones. Like say, like,
Well-
like that, I think like that phone that like Regina Hall was using in like When the Bow Breaks. I don't even know that one is on the market yet.
Yeah, I don't...
Fucking like
This- it wouldn't-
Xperia like phablet looking thing.
It wouldn't surprise me if this was made a couple of years ago, but I mean, it could easily be one of those situations where it was like the prop that they had just happened to maybe be a model that was a couple of years old. Like, hey, we need a phone for this scene. Dude reaches in their pocket, like, oh, I haven't upgraded it in a couple of years. Sorry.
It's like, can we have this? I'll fill you out a PO for it and just take it over to Sheila, and she'll get you
Yeah.
the $20 for this phone.
I have trouble like...
Because it's not, like that's basically what we did for like the Snob movie. Like, oh man, we got this scene, but we need to have a phone that has an antenna on it. It's like, oh wait, I still have a really old like LG that has an
I
antenna.
still have an old Ameritex sitting in one of them, but like those old phones we used in Hooker. That we used it in Hooker with a heart of gold. Like, I still have a couple of those phones laying around. It would be... this is a hard movie to say in what... Because I can't even sit here and be like, oh, for curiosity's sake, you should watch this on Netflix or something, because you're just going to get bored.
Yeah, it's not gonna hold your attention. It's not good enough to justify saying watch it, but it's not bad enough to justify saying watch it for laughs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we were riffing on it a lot while we were watching it. But there were entire scenes where we were just having conversations about random other shit.
Yeah, because there's a lot of sequences where not much is going on, and what is going on, oh, the fake out dream sequence again because the kid was all bloody. Oh, well, thank you for doing that for the 5,000th time I've seen this year. Yeah,
There were a few times where we're just like, where do we know that guy from? Like, oh, hold on, let's pull up IMDb and just casually look through it.
oh, it's Havoc from the X-Men
It's like,
movies.
that explains it. I thought it was the
He's
other
in,
guy.
He's in this. So honestly,
I
like,
feel really bad if that's the reason they killed him off. And like, yeah, X-Men Apocalypse wasn't great, but I'd feel really bad if the reason they had to kill him off is because he was committed to doing this movie.
gotta do the disappointments room, man. I'm
It's
a
like,
big Prison Break fan.
All right, I guess we'll write you out of the X-Men ones. You're good. It's like I just need to be around in case they need sequels for this.
If you want, yeah. If you want to watch something Wentworth Miller wrote, watch Stoker. If you want to see something DJ Caruso directed, watch The Salton Sea. This, if you want to give it a shot, maybe pop it up on Netflix. You'll at least have a pretty good scene with her drunk monologue. But other than that, there's worse horror movies this year that you'll have a funner time watching because they're so fucking inept. This movie's just a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, it's just it's and that's like my I mean, it sounds redundant to say, but it's my least favorite kind of bad movie.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's bad, but not even in a special way. It's just bad.
It was just a bad film that shouldn't have been in theaters.
Oh God.
There was some decent cinematography, but this movie shouldn't have been in theaters.
I think the only reason it landed a theater release as opposed to like just DVD or video on demand is just because of the names attached to it.
Most likely.
They sold it on the graces of who was involved. Like, they looked at it like, well, I mean, DJ Caruso's done some good stuff. We got Kate Beckinsale, she's got, the Underworld stuff coming back up. So, I mean, her name's trending. Like, sure, let's
throw
it out there.
Horror can be easy to turn a profit. You know, regardless of whether a movie's good or bad.
Although, from the sound of it, this movie's finding it hard to turn a profit.
I don't think this debuted in the top 10. Unless you're this movie or Morgan.
Which that one I thought was gonna at least do all right.
I was surprised when it debuted at like frickin' Oogie Loves levels. Like, the movie wasn't good, but the movie... I've seen like, worse movies that debuted at number 1.
But yeah, I mean, considering how his, like, the vibe for it was basically like, and granted I haven't seen it yet, but from, just from like this...
It's a solid rental.
But just from like the selling point of the trailer, basically makes it across like, oh, well, yeah, it's like Species meets Splice meets...
Ex Machina...
Yeah, like Ex Machina meets, 11 from Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's like, what it was.
And considering how that came out, like, right after Stranger Things had been out for, like a month, like long enough for people to, like, have watched it all and fallen in love with the idea, that it seemed like that would have done a lot better. But apparently
no one was interested. Some people tried.
Everybody was still at home rewatching Stranger Things.
I recommend that over going to see Morgan in theaters. But Morgan was fine for a rental. Like I heard some people saying afterwards, like, well, maybe it just didn't get advertised much. Like, are you kidding me? I saw a trailer for that like every fucking week for the month before it came out.
Yeah. To be fair, like, yeah, it's like...
Maybe that's why it did fine in Springfield. It got previews here, but nowhere else.
Like, I saw one trailer for The Disappointments Room, and that was maybe...
I saw none.
Something we saw, like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I must have gone out to use the restroom, like...
Either that or... No, you know what? I think it was one of the movies I went to with Sarah.
Oh, Ben-Hur? Did they show a preview for this in front of Ben or Mike and Dave? You guys were at that.
I don't think it was that far back.
And you guys were at Ben-Hur was the most recent one I think you two were at. That would have been a preview for this in front of Ben-Hur.
Yeah, fuck, I cannot remember what movie it was.
No, I'd never heard of this movie until it opened like 2 weeks ago. I thought it might be another one of the religious movies until I looked at the synopsis. It's kind of like, if it's something I've never heard of.
War Room 2, the Disappointments Room.
Yeah, it's when you go pray in your war room and nothing happens. The end. It's disappointing. I'm pretty sure that God's Compass movie might as well be a sequel. It's got the same actors in it. Different characters, same actors. In case you want to see the old War Room team get back together again.
I got the band back together.
Fuck yeah. Alright. Tomorrow is, I need to look and see what that movie's about. Maybe it'll be great, like War Room. Tomorrow is Storks and Magnificent Seven. I only know that because we mentioned it last night in the videos last night.
I'm like, yeah, so that's coming out.
Yeah, Storks and Actually, I'm looking forward to both of those movies, so hopefully I'll have an alright double feature tomorrow. See ya.